All right. I am fresh out of the theater on Super Bowl Sunday. I went and saw a movie. I was the only one in the movie theater. And I want to talk about it because I think it's, as far as this kind of movie goes, which is to say a horror, comedy, romance movie. Are there other movies like that? I guess there are. There probably are. This is maybe the most charming, the cleverest, the most enjoyable that I've seen. And the title of the movie is Hard Eyes. Now, I went into this completely blind, not knowing that, not knowing any kind of, and I still don't know what the critics are saying about it. Don't care, of course, but there was no reputation that preceded my viewing of this movie. I saw it just because I thought it might be good, and I had a couple hours to kill, so I went ahead and took it in. A movie date with myself. You gotta be good to yourself. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta take yourself out sometimes. Treat yourself. If you don't treat yourself properly, then your partner, i.e. you, might lose interest in you. So yeah. And all of that is very relevant to the theme of the movie. The movie's about Valentine's Day, and it's about this killer who kills couples on Valentine's Day. And it's an interesting premise. I don't know. It's like you would have thought that idea would have occurred to somebody by now. I think that by now there has been, it's sort of built up this anti-Valentine's Day sentiment. It's just, we're very cynical today. I've always hated Valentine's Day. I've always just never. I've always thought that it's just a crude attempt to sell cards and stuff. And I dislike it intensely. I used to dislike it intensely, but now I don't really care that much because there's enough people out there who also hate it, and it seems like it's more or less acceptable to hate Valentine's Day and to heap hate on Valentine's Day. So I don't feel that strongly about it anymore, but I do resonate with the idea of an anti-Valentine's Day movie. Is this an anti-Valentine's Day movie? Yes and no. It's cleverly done enough that well, let me just talk a little bit more about what happens in it. So you've got a killer killing couples on Valentine's Day. The tone of the movie is very light. It's very tongue-in-cheek. But that doesn't mean there is also a lot of blood and gore. So it straddles that line between comedy and horror and also romance. But we wonder all along, our heroine, the main character, which has become a thing now to say you're such a main character, but this is the actual main character of the movie, meets a guy that she likes, and he likes her, but is it real, or, and she's got a certain, she's got a reason for not liking Valentine's Day, not trusting feelings of romance and whatnot. And we don't know for sure about this guy. Could he be, he seems like a nice guy, he seems like a romantic guy and everything, but could he really be the killer? Or could these various other people that we meet at different times in the story, Could that person be the killer? Could that person be the killer? I've got to say, I was worried about what the big reveal would be. I thought there were times when I thought, oh, please don't let it be that person. Don't let it be that character. That would be so lame. That would be so predictable. I thought that a couple of times. And then when you find out who the killer is, and when you find out what the motivation of the killer is, it's nothing that you would have expected. Nothing that I expected. I didn't see it coming at all. And it adds a whole nother layer to everything. You know, you have this cynical movie about Valentine's Day and about a Valentine's Day killer, somebody killing lovers on Valentine's Day. So is this going to be an anti-incel movie? You know, is it going to be something like that? You know, I was worried, you know. Well, I wasn't worried, but I thought maybe it'd be some incel type character or an evil psychopathic guy, an ex-lover or something like that. An ex-lover of the heroine. But no, when you find out who the killer is, I'm not going to give it away here. It's totally a curveball. When you were expecting a curveball, it's, you know, you're all along, you're wondering what the curveball is going to be, and when you finally get it, it's totally, you would have swung and missed if it were a real curveball, because it's that well pitched. You know, I'm straining the metaphor a little bit here. But I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did. I mean, I think it's kind of a trifle. Honestly, it's not like there's nothing deep about this movie. But I would say that as movies like it go, as trifles go, it's incredibly refreshingly clever, and you know, has very nice dialogue, which is aware of the cliches and manages to reference them even as it transcends them. Very smartly written movie, and very, very ably and very likably acted by all of the leads, who are mostly unknown. I didn't recognize anybody in this movie. And I think if you look over the cast, you know, unless there's somebody among that cast who's famous that I just don't know about, it's a mostly no-name cast, and but I really enjoy where they went with it. It maintained just the right tone, which is not an easy thing to do. You know, it was funny, and light and kind of campy, but it still, you know, had some sense of menace, and it never went off the rails. It never became, you know, there were no jarring or abrupt tone changes. All these kinds of things I was fearing might happen didn't happen. You know, I didn't go into this thinking anything about the movie. I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't even seen any previews for it. But I was, again, pleasantly surprised, very pleasantly surprised. So again, for a movie that's not deep, or profound or anything like that, but it touches on certain profound subjects. You know, love. Do we believe in love? Romance. You know, what is love and death? You know, the relevance there between those two things. You know, the French talk about, what is it, la petite mort, probably mangled that, but that's a little death, you know, which is a reference to orgasm. So interesting that you got, you know, that even the act of love culminates in a death-like spasm. I don't know. So anyway, Good movie, recommended. Don't expect again. Don't think this is like, you know, the new Apocalypse Now or anything like that. But for what it is, it's really, really good, and I recommend it to pretty much everyone. And that's my